Hello everyone, I am Hitesh from the Cubeology and this is the first match of Cubing Clash 3.0 that we are posting on our YouTube channel. This is Ishit versus Cham Clock Final. This is the best of 7 sets, so whoever wins 4 sets first wins the match. So both of these solvers have competed very well in the qualifier and eliminator as well as the qualifier 2. So now they are in the finals. So starting with the first set, so it will be an alternative set. So Ishit will be starting first. So he has started with his inspection, as we can see. So starting with his solve. Okay, Ishit with a 4.66, so a very good start. So Cham has also started with his inspection. Both of these solvers are pretty quick. Both have competed very well. Cham won the qualifier 1 against Ishit. So let's see. So Cham has started the first solve. Okay, 3.97 from Cham. So Cham wins the first solve. Both of these solvers are no flip users. So they use a no flip method, which does not require any rotation during the solve. So Cham has started the second solve. Okay, so 5.01 from Cham, a little bit of a mess up. So Ishit started with his inspection. Starting with his solve. Okay, Ishit with the 4.15, so Ishit wins the second solve. 1-1 is the set score. Ishit starting with the third solve. Started very quick, did not take much time in inspection. Okay, 3.07 from Ishit. So a pretty good solve. So let's see if Cham can beat this 3.07. So Cham is using the Chi clock, whereas Ishit is using the Chi Shao, that is a modified clock between Chi and Senshaw. So Cham with a 4.07, 1 exact second more than Ishit. So 2-1 is the set score. So Cham starting the inspection with the fourth solve for the fourth solve. Starting the solve now. Okay, not so good solve. A 5.96 for Cham. Ishit should be winning this solve easily, and if he wins this solve, then he will win the set as well. So starting with the solve. So yeah, Ishit wins with a 3.38 and the set ends. So 1-0 is the match score. So Ishit has already gained a lead in the match. Cham starting this set. So inspecting it. Starting with his solve. So 3.6 is from Cham and it's a good way to start the set. Ishit inspecting the solve. Starting it out. The first solve or the second set for Ishit. Okay, Ishit with a DNF. So Cham wins the solve. 0-1 is the match score, the set score. Ishit starting with the second solve of the set. Okay, Ishit safety flipped and had some issue, so he had to flip it. So 4.47 from Ishit. Cham starting out with his second solve for the set. Started with the execution pretty quick and a 3.87 from Cham. So 0-2 is the set score. So it's a good lead for Cham. He only needs to win one of the upcoming 3 solves in the set to win the set. So inspecting it out. Started with his third solve of the set. A little bit of a mess up and Cham with a 7.84. So this should be a door wide open for Ishit. He should be easily winning this until he DNFs. So inspecting his clock. Ishit starting with the third solve of the set for him. Okay, a little bit of a mess up, but a 4.42. So Ishit wins this solve very easily. Ishit starting with the fourth solve. Let's see, can Ishit get back and get this set? So he started with his fourth solve of the set. Okay, 3.43, a pretty good solve from Ishit. So it might be hard for Cham to beat a 3.43. So let's see. Cham started with the fourth solve, turning very quick, and a 3.70. So a 0.27 difference between the solvers, and 2-2 is the set score. So whoever wins this solve wins the set. If Cham wins it, the match will be 1-1. If Ishit wins, he will have a strong lead in the match. Cham starting with the fifth solve, and a very quick 2.59 seconds. So very hard for Ishit to beat this considering the nerves he would have. Let's see if he could beat a 2.59 or not. Started with his fifth solve of the set. Okay, 2.80. So it's a 0.21 difference, and Cham wins the solve and the set. 1-1 is the match score. A 2.80 not winning is crazy. Ishit starting with the third set. Started with the set, the solve. Okay, a little bit of a mess up there we can see, and 7.77. So not a solve Ishit was thinking to start with. So Cham is starting with the first solve of the set. This should be a door wide open for Cham. Let's see. Starting with his solve. A little bit of a mess up there as well, but a 5.66. So Cham still wins it pretty comfortably by more than 2 seconds. Cham is starting the inspection for his second solve of the set. So for people who don't know, Cham is a former world record holder for clock. So he's a good competitor. So a 3.20 for Cham for the second solve of third set. So let's see if Ishit could beat this 3.20. So Ishit inspecting it, trying to see which side is better and memorizing the moves. And Cham wins this easily because Ishit gets a DNF. So 0-2 is the set score. Ishit starting with the third solve. Ishit needs to win all the upcoming 3 solves to win the set, and Cham only needs to win one of the upcoming 3 solves to win the set. So Ishit started with his third solve and a DNF again. So it's a door wide open for Cham because he can just get any time other than a DNF to win the solve. So Cham inspecting it and started with his solution. So yeah, a 3.70 from Cham, and he wins the set. So 1-2 is the match score. And for people who think that why did not Cham know about DNF, because nobody knows about each other's solve when they are solving, so that they cannot use advantage of knowing whether the other person has got a DNF or not. So that it's a fair ground. So Cham is starting with the first solve of the fourth set and a mess up and a 3.78. So Ishit starting with the inspection for his first solve. So inspecting it a bit longer. Ishit started with his first solve of the set. A little bit of a mess up and a 3.71. So he still wins the solve with a 0.07 margin. Ishit starting with the second solve of the set. Inspected it. And a 3.86 from Ishit. So it's a good start for him in this set. So let's see, can Cham beat this 3.86 or not? Cham started with his solve. A little bit of an execution error, and Ishit surely wins this. It's a DNF for Cham. So Ishit wins the solve. 2-0 is the set score. So it's a pretty neck to neck battle. So Cham starting the inspection for his third solve of the set. He needs to get back or the set goes to Ishit. Started with his solve, turning pretty quick, and a safety flip for a 4.16. So Ishit starting with his third solve, he needs to beat a 4.16 and win the set. If not, the solve goes to the fourth solve of the set. And Ishit doing the solve. Okay, 5.68 from Ishit. So Cham wins the solve. So 2-1 is the set score. Ishit starting with the fourth solve of the set. So it's surely nerve-wracking. Very intense match between both of them going neck to neck. Ishit starting with the fourth solve. A pretty quick turning from Ishit. A little bit of a mess up as well, I feel. 3.82 from Ishit. So Cham needs to beat a 3.82 to maintain his level in the set, or else Ishit will win the set. Cham inspecting it and started with his solution. A little bit of a turning issue, I guess, in the set. 4.50 from Cham. So Ishit wins the solve and the set. 2-2 is the match score. Very intense match. So the way clock speed solving works is a no flip method has a calculation that goes in the inspection. So as you can see, the solver is flipping the clock back and forth to calculate how many moves is it required and some calculations. Then they execute it without even seeing the backside again. So Cham the first solve 5.37. Ishit starting with the first solve of the fifth set. So whoever wins two more sets wins the match. So let's see how it goes. Ishit starting with the first solve of the set. A quick turning and a 3.11 from Ishit. So Ishit wins the first solve. So 1-0 is the set score. Ishit starting with the second solve. Inspecting it. So yeah, Ishit has started the solve, second solve of the set. Quick turning, a little bit of a mess up, I feel, but a 4.72, so not too bad. So Cham needs to beat a 4.72. Let's see if he can do it or not. So Cham inspecting it. Starting with the solve. And a 3.26 from Cham. So 1-1 is the set score right now. So Cham will be starting the second solve. The third solve for the set, sorry. Inspecting it out. Starting with the solve. A pretty quick turning. And a 4.00. So a 4 flat from Cham. Can Ishit get a sub 4 and beat Cham? Let's see. So Ishit inspecting his clock. So starting out with the solve. Okay, a quick solve from Ishit, 3.53. So Ishit wins the solve. So 2-1 for the set. Ishit leads. Ishit starting with the fourth solve of the set. So let's see whether he could win the set or not. Starting with the solve. A quick turning and a 4.14 from Ishit. Now let's see if Cham could beat the 4.14. So he is inspecting the clock, memorizing, and started with the solution. A pretty quick solution from Cham and a 3.99. So exact sub 4 as we call it. So 2-2 is the set score, and whoever wins this solve wins the set. So it's already tied, two sets each, two solves each in this set. So pretty net to net the battle is. Cham with a 3.43 in the fifth solve, so might be hard for Ishit to beat this, but Ishit has also got a lot of good solves today. So let's see how it goes. Ishit inspecting the clock, starting out with his solution. So a quick turning from Ishit and a 3.32. So Ishit wins the solve and 3-2 is the max score. So Ishit only needs to win one of the upcoming two sets to win the match and become the clock champion for Cubing Clutch 3.0. So Cham starting out with the sixth set, inspecting the clock. Started out with his first solve, as you can see it. Mess up at the end and a 5.07. So let's see if Ishit could beat this. This should be an easy win for Ishit for this solve. So let's see. So as per the revised rules from WCA 2 years ago, participants can switch the pins during inspection. So Ishit with the 3.4 sets and he beats Cham in the first solve. So 1-0 is the set score. Ishit starting out with the second solve. So started out with the second solve and a DNF from Ishit. So Cham has a door wide open. So he can easily win this solve until he DNFs as well. So yeah, Cham started out with his solve and a 3.55. If he would have got a 10 also, he would still won because Ishit got a DNF. So Cham is starting with the third solve of the set. 1-1 is the set score. Everything going very neck to neck. Do comment before the match ends for whom you think will win the match. So Cham started with the solve and a 3.21 from Cham, a good comeback. He needs to win this set so that the match goes to the last set as well, or else Ishit would win the set and win the match. So Ishit inspecting it, starting out with his solution. A little bit of a turning issue from Ishit and a 4.54. So Cham wins the solve. 1-2 is the set score. So Ishit starting out with the fourth solve of the set. So it is going very intense. So Ishit inspected it, starting out with his solve, turning pretty quickly, but a little bit of a mess up, I believe, and a 4.47 from Ishit. Can Cham beat this 4.47 and get the set win, or will it go to the last solve of this set as well? So Cham started with his solve. A little bit of a mess up there, but a 4.09. Still, Cham wins the solve and the set. So 3-3 is the set score. The match is tied. The last set and the deciding set is here. Cham is starting out with the first solve, inspecting it. This is a do or die scenario for both of the participants. Whoever wins this set wins the match and becomes the champion of Cubing Clash 3.0 for Clock. A little bit of a mess up from Cham there, but a 5.05. So let's see if Ishit could beat this 5.05. So Ishit starting out with his solve, inspecting it out. Started with his solution. Okay, a DNF from Ishit. So this is a place where you cannot bear a DNF because that is just throwing you off from the match. Ishit starting with the second solve. He needs to come back because he was in the lead a few minutes ago. So he needs to win this match to become the champion of Cubing Clash 3.0 for Clock. Started out with his second solve. Ishit is on a good pace, but a little bit of a mess up and a DNF again. So it's a door wide open for Cham, and he could easily win this solve and have a very big lead in the set and the match and the league. So Cham is inspecting it. He is not aware that Ishit has got a DNF again. So he can just complete the solve and still win the solve with any time that he gets. So 5.18 from Cham and he wins the solve. 0-2 is the set score. Cham only needs one more win to win the solve, the set and the match. Cham inspecting it out, starting with his solution on a good pace and a 3.47 from Cham. So this is the same time that Yushendu got the 3x3 first sub 4 single. So let's see if Ishit could get a better time than this, or this is the point where Cham gets crowned as the clock champion for Cubing Class 3.0. So Ishit started with his solve and on a good pace, but a 4.02, and we have our champion for Cubing Clash 3.0 clock, that is Cham J Chambers. So huge congratulations to Cham, and thanks for watching everyone. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos as well.